Alright, so when you're solving a word problem, make sure you read through the problem a couple times, make sure you understand what's going on here. In this application problem with a linear function, you're going to read through here, you're basically looking at, if I use so much water, what's the cost that goes with it? That's what this chart represents. And so you're given a couple of pieces of data here. When you use 18 hundreds of cubic feet of water, it costs $34.64. So this information goes together. This is your x coordinate and your y coordinate. So your water used is your x coordinate, the cost is your y coordinate. And then you're given another set of information. If you use 50 hundreds of cubic feet of water, it costs $84.24. Okay, now I can plug this information in. If I'm giving two coordinates on a line, I can find its slope. Okay, and then I can use that to find the cost of using 47 hundreds of cubic feet of water. Okay, so that's one way you could do this. This is how it makes sense to me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. So given this information, basically, I'm going to think of this as, I'm going to list these as points. So 18 and $34.64. That's one set of points. And then 50 with $84.24. Okay, so remember, slope is your change in your y values over your change in your x values. Now these little subs, this is just to remind us which x goes with which, that these coordinates go together and these coordinates go together. So I'm going to take the larger coordinates and call this y sub 2, and then call this one y sub 1. Okay, so this would be x sub 2 and x sub 1. Alright, so let's plug this in here. The slope equals 84.24 minus 34.64 all over 50 minus 18. Now this is going to simplify to 49.60. 50 minus 18 gives me 32. And I'm going to go ahead and divide those, and that gives me 1.55. And that's your slope. Now I can use this formula again, and but I'm going to use 47 and comma y, because we don't know what this y value is, what this cost. If you want to call it c for cost, that's fine, but just because I'm using slope, I'm going to call it y. Okay, and then I could use either one of these other points, and I'm going to choose the smaller value, so the 18 and the 34.64. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug that into this information, this equation again. I'm going to go ahead and write it like this though, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 equals m. Because I know my variable is going to end up being over here, this y. So I'm going to consider this my second y and my second x. And this will be my first one. Or x sub 2, x sub 2 and y sub 2. And then this would be x sub 1 and y sub 1. Okay, and plug this in. So I'm going to get y minus $34.64 all over x sub 2, which was this value, 47, minus x sub 1, which was 18, and that equals the slope. The slope we know is 1.55. Okay, so now we're going to simplify this. Y minus 34.64, we'll go ahead and subtract 47 minus 18, and that gives me 29. Now to solve this, I would go ahead and multiply both sides by 29. So you can kind of multiply this side by 29 and this side by 29. And this is like 29 over 1, so you can see that these will cancel. And it's basically going to leave you with y minus 34.64 equals see 44.95. And now I need to solve that for y, so I've got to add 34.64 to both sides. So I'm going to add 34.64. So that's basically going to give you y equals $79.59.